Hi there, today we're going to look at how to create a simple fish tank animation based on the one you've seen already. Now this file starts partway through the project and there are some questions on the screen to help guide you through the process. We're going to start by looking at the yellow fish, and the first task is, can you arrange these blocks so the fish will move by itself? So I'm just going to start by dragging the blocks together. Find edge bounce, move 10 steps, and this block here. And I'll quickly talk you through these blocks before we do anything. What these blocks do, this sets the rotation style of the sprite. Why this is important is normally a sprite moves all the way around, freely all the way around. Now what that means is if I start the fish moving without this in, and I'll do that first, it will flip upside down, and I don't really want that to happen. I want it to actually go left and right without flipping, and so that's what this rotation style does. It sets it to go, instead of rotating all the way around, it sets it just left and right, and you can see how that works now, left and right. Now the other thing you've got is it says if an edge bounce, if it touches the edge it bounces, and it moves 10 steps. The number 10 refers to how quickly it works. So if I change this number to a lower number, it will move more slowly. So if I get to this started, I've hit the green flag, you can see the fish is moving backwards and forwards quite happily. Now, one of the things you'll notice changing as it's moving around, as well as the X coordinates, you'll see the direction changing. And this is how we get the fish to appear to move up and down, as in the example. So if I click stop for a second and click on direction, you'll notice the arrow is pointing in the direction it's facing. And as I move the arrow, that changes the direction it's going to travel in. So if I set it to there and then start it off again, it's going to start moving in a downwards direction because I've set the direction it's facing. So I can actually put this in code so it starts properly every time. And I can set it as maybe 70, which means it will go up slightly. If I start the green flag, it will start moving around the screen. And if I want to change it slower, make it 5, it instantly updates, which is one of the nice things about Scratch. Now, one of the questions up here, which is worth just stopping to make sure everyone's clear on, is what does the move 10 steps block actually mean? And what it means is it moves 10 steps in the direction it's facing. So this arrow, this direction, is really important to understand how it works. It doesn't move 10 steps or 5 steps forward. It moves, in this case, 5 steps in the direction it's facing. And that's where I've got the hint there. You may have missed out a blue block because we were missing this pointing direction. Now, the next step is to go to the octopus and get the octopus moving as well. Now, I'm going to pause for a moment while I get this sorted out, and then we're going to look at how we can animate the octopus as well. Now here's my program for the movement of the octopus. If I click the green flag, both are going to start moving, and I'm making my octopus move quite slowly, but also I'm just making him point in the direction 90 because I just want him to go backwards and forwards. Now to make it animate, we need to go and grab some other blocks from the purple, yellow and orange sections. And this relates to some work you will have done in year 4. So I'm going to grab a forever loop. I'm going to grab a when green flag clicked event block because I wanted to start when I click the green flag. And then I'm going to go down to costumes and click next costume. If I go to the costume, you'll see that there are 2 costumes that you can flip between. And these 2 costumes is what I want to program. So I've got all the code already. So now when I click the green flag, forever, I'm going to go next costume. Now if I start this off, and I can start this off just by clicking this block, you'll notice it's flicking very, very quickly. The reason for this is because I need to slow it down a bit. So I'm just going to get a wait block in and click it in, and instantly you can see it update. Now I don't want it as 1 second. Let's make it 1.25 seconds. Maybe that's a little bit too fast. Let's do it 1.5. Sorry, 0.5. And there you go. That's fine. So you've got a bit of motion. So now I'm going to drag the octopus back to where it starts, hit the green flag, and now I've got a very simple animation where I've got 2 moving sprites, 1 that's animated. Now what we'd like you to do next is to add your own sprites and get them moving around. Now to add a sprite, you go down here You click on that icon. And then what you want to do is look for animals. And then through there, you're going to see undersea creatures. In fact, what you can do is type sea, and you'll get all the sea creatures as well. Please don't add the shark for a moment because we're going to come back to that later. If you hover over any, you can see some that will have costumes that make them move. Please add some of those. You can add any other fish, octopuses, jellyfish, totally up to you. I'm going to add a starfish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same process I've done before. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to add the same code I've got for the fish or the octopus to make it move around. And if I'm going to animate it, I'm going to add a similar code to what the octopus has got as well. If you want to change the size, because the size of this is quite big, you can change it by altering this number. So if you make this 75, that's about right. In fact, let's make it even smaller. Let's do 60. We've got a much smaller sprite. I'm just going to pause there, add the relevant bits of code just to show you it finished. So here we are ready for this code to start running. It's pointing in the direction of 110, so it's just pointing slightly downwards. Its rotation style has been set. It's going to move at a speed of about 9, and we've got our costume set up as well. You'll notice the code is very similar for each of these sprites. Hit the green flag to get it going, and then we've got our sprite moving around. So can you add a few more and see what your animation can look like? The final step here is to add a bit of sound to make it look like that this is a real fish tank. Now, the simplest thing to do is to add a sound, to add a piece of code to play a sound. Now, you can add sound in any sprite, but I like always adding it on the stage because that's where the sound is coming from if you think about it as bubbles. So I go to sounds. Bubbles is already here on this example. To add a sound, you click on plus, and then through here you can look at all the different types of sounds. It's going to be an effect, I think, for bubbles anyway. It's somewhere, and if you can't find it, you can always search for it as well. There, click on it, and then you'll have it added. Now I've added it twice. I can get rid of that one. So I've already got bubbles. I can play it to hear it. And what I want to do is I need to add some code to make it play. So again, I want it to start when the green flag is clicked. And I want it to play the sound until done, because I want it to play the entire thing. I want to play it bubbles. And I want it to repeat. So once it's finished, it's going to continue again. So I'm going to go down to control, get a forever loop, and that means it's going to keep playing. So now, if I hit the green flag, everything should work together. We've got our moving creatures, and we've got our bubbles. Over to you now to see if you can get your animations as good as mine.